Oh my god. Alright. So sorry guys during the video, as you're gonna see when I'm breaking down WrestleDream from Saturday night, I forgot one match, and that was the three-way match for the AEW International Championship, which saw Ricochet, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita going at it for the AEW International Championship. Uh, Konosuke Takeshita became your new international champion after Kyle Fletcher came out and turned on his best friend Will Ospreay. So it'll be interesting to see where the rivalry goes from there. Yeah, so just wanted to make that known before you guys watch the rest of my review of WrestleDream, man. Yeah, so enjoy the review, and I will, of course, see you guys on the next one. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend and is ready to conquer the week that is. And speaking of this week, man, oh man, I've got an insane week ahead of me, man. But that'll be next week's group of vlogs that I'll talk about everything that went on this week. But for right now, we're gonna talk some wrestling, and we're gonna talk about AEW WrestleDream that went down this past Saturday night. Huge pay per view, man. There's so much to get to, so here we go. Um, I'm gonna quickly go over the 0 hour, which is the pre-show, because I really didn't watch it, but I did catch the results. So here we go. Brian Cage defeated Atlantis Jr. to become the new Ring of Honor World Television Champion. Anna Jay defeated Harley Cameron. The Acclaimed defeated MXM Collection, Mansoor and Mace from WWE, the guys that used to run with LA Knight in Maximum models. But there was a nice surprise there. I did get a chance to catch a little bit of that, and Rico, Billy Gunn's former manager. Billy Gunn was with the Acclaimed, and Rico used to manage the tag team of Billy and Chuck, and it was nice to see him in AEW, because I know he had gone through some health issues and throughout these past years, so it's good to see him healthy and back in the wrestling scene. But the Acclaim defeated MXM Collection, and then the final match of 0 hour consisted of the Outrunners and the Conglomeration, the duo of Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy. Um, they defeated the Dark Order's John Silver and Alex Reynolds, and the Premier Athletes Tony Nese and Arya Davari. So that was pretty much it for the pre-show. All right, now on to the main card. The night kicked off with Switchblade Jay White defeating Hangman Page. And the story here was this was a rematch of the semifinals of the Owen Hart men's tournament, which Adam Page defeated Jay White, and Jay White was looking for some revenge because of what Hangman Page did to his boys in the Jay White's boys in the Bang Bang Gang, Austin and Colton Gunn. And Jay White was able to get that revenge by picking up the win. He countered Adam Page's buckshot lariat into the Blade Runner, which is into his finisher, the Blade Runner, and he picked up the 1-2-3. So great opening match to kick off WrestleDream. Next up in the second match of the night, the AEW Women's World Championship was on the line as Willow Nightingale looked to dethrone the Glamour Mariah May. And these ladies had an incredible match. It was so back and forth, but in the end, Mariah May retained the AEW Women's Championship by hitting Storm Zero on Willow Nightingale, and that was that. Next up, in another great match, the TNT Championship was on the line as Jack Perry defended against scapegoat Jack Perry, defended against Katsuyori Shibata. Again, another great hard hitting match. It looked like Shibata was going to get the best of Jack Perry, but Jack Perry ended up providing a unique counter to Katsuyori Shibata's sleeper hold and actually pinned his shoulders to the mat, retaining the TNT Championship. And that's the thing with sleeper holds. You gotta, if you're applying a full body scissor sleeper hold, you gotta watch that your shoulders don't get pinned to the mat while you're trying to choke out your opponent. Next up, was a segment in which Swerve Strickland came back. He had been out of action since the last pay per view All Out, in his lights out cage match with Hangman Page, and he came out for a medical update. And he stated that although he is not feeling 100%, he is medically cleared to wrestle. So it'll be nice to see him back into the fold pretty soon. And but then he is joined in the ring by MVP and Shelton Benjamin, who MVP debuted at Arthur Ashe Stadium Grand Slam a couple of weeks ago, and Shelton Benjamin debuted the following Dynamite. So they're trying to recruit Shane Strickland into their new faction in AEW, and Shane wasn't having Swerve wasn't having any of it, and he said that he doesn't do business. He doesn't turn his back on family, and which led to a stare down between he and Shelton Benjamin. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Oh, man, how did I forget this? The Jack Perry match, which I just talked about, there were several returns. For MJF came back off of shooting Happy Gilmore 2 and several other projects that he was working on. So he has spent some time away, and after a year, Adam Cole returned to confront MJF. Adam Cole, the last time we saw Adam Cole in AEW ring, he had a freak injury that kept him on the sideline for a year. Had a messed up ankle, and it's cool to see him back. So it's gonna be great to see how that goes. But next up after that, this was a really, really good match. The hologram Mexican sensation Hologram defeated the Beast Mortos. These two, despite the size difference between Hologram and the Beast Mortos, put on a great match. I mean, the Beast Mortos is like 280, 285, 290 pounds, and he moves like he's 200 pounds, which is unheard of for a guy of that size. And Hologram is always entertaining to watch. They put on a hell of a show. Hologram captured the first fall. Then the Beast Mortos captured the second fall, and then the third fall, it was Hologram picking up the win, 2-1. Next up, we had another match of contrasting styles as Seattle's own Darby Allin took on Brody King, and these two really destroyed each other. Darby's willing to put his life on the line for anything. I mean, this is a man who got hit by a New York City bus and then wrestled a week later on Dynamite. It's crazy. But what do you call it? So these two really destroyed each other, and then but after the match, it was Darby Allin picking up the win with a coffin drop, and Brody King gave him his respect. So that's pretty cool to see. Next up, the AEW World Tag Team Championship was on the line as Private Party defeated looked to take the titles from the Young Bucks, but man, so much history here. Private Party was one of the first tag teams that the Young Bucks signed to AEW, and they defeated them in the first in the inaugural AEW Tag Team Championship tournament in the first round, which by many people was considered an upset. So definitely, their Private Party definitely can hang with the Young Bucks, but last night the Young Bucks got the best of them, and it was an emotional moment because I believe that was their first match on pay per view, Private Party, and they didn't get the job done. But nothing to hang, nothing to, no need to hang their heads, man. They put on a great effort, and I really enjoyed that match. Uh, Next up, Mark Briscoe defended the Ring of Honor World Championship against Chris Jericho. So Chris Jericho was looking to become a two-time Ring of Honor World Champion and what do you call it, and a nine-time world champion overall. But that was not to be. It was a very physical match. Mark Briscoe is one of those balls to the wall wrestlers that will give you everything he has every time, and he certainly did. And Chris Jericho, after 30 plus years of doing this, man, he's still constantly reinventing himself, and that's one of the many things that I love about Chris Jericho. And Yeah, so Mark Briscoe ended up picking up the win with Froggy Bow, which is a elbow drop slash frog splash off the top rope, and no, actually, no, he didn't use Froggy Bow. My fault. He used the J Driller, which is an ode to his late brother Jay Briscoe, and was able to pick up the win. And then Okay, that was your semi-main event, and then in your main event, oh my God, for the AEW World Championship, uh, John Moxley took on Brian Danielson. Now, so much history here with Brian Danielson and John Moxley, from their independent days to their days at WWE, where they've had several battles. And now here their history with history in AEW. The Blackpool Combat Club, which they were a part of, and then after their match at Revolution 2022, that was a hard hitting match, and this one was even more hard hitting with Marina Shafir being on the side of John Moxley and constantly getting involved in the match, and John Moxley just doing everything he can to to take the world title from Brian, because he said that you know Brian Danielson doesn't understand why this has to be done, and he's John Moxley's on sort of like this crusade to kind of rebuild AEW in his image, and it's a pretty cool storyline, and John Moxley took the first step by taking the world title away from Brian Danielson. Uh, but it was what would happen after the match that left people sort of uncomfortable. Wheeler Yuta, who has been in the middle of this whole storyline, conflicted because he is two thirds of the AEW World Trios champions, along with Blackpool Combat Club member Claudio Castagnoli and Pac, and so he's kind of been in the middle of all this, and kind of helping out Brian Danielson, and trying to combat John Moxley and the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club. But last night, Wheeler Yuta made the turn on Brian Danielson, and kind of tried to mimic suffocating Brian Danielson. That completed Wheeler Yuta's heel turn, and Brian Danielson has stated in interviews he doesn't know how long he'll wrestle after he loses the world title. So this is probably the end of his full time career. He will pop out on occasion for maybe special events, but as far as being a full-time wrestler goes, he is most likely done. And if this is the end, man, it's been a hell of a ride for Bryan Danielson, man. Always been a huge fan, always will be a huge fan, and it'll be interesting to see where the whole John Moxley situation goes. But anyway, that is a wrap on WrestleDream, another great show, and that is a wrap on this episode, man. So like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And of course, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.